Hey everyone, Dan here. Before we get into it, if you enjoy these videos, please hit the like and subscribe button. It helps a lot. And also keep in mind that these are my own thoughts, opinions, and ideas. These are not meant to be, nor should you take them as investment or trading advice in any way, shape, or form. Do your own due diligence, put in the work for yourself, and make your decisions based on that. Enjoy. Alright folks, here we are just before market close on Tuesday, October 19th. We're going to take a look at FUBO today. FBO looks like it's setting up quite nicely to me on the daily, and so I, full disclosure, took a couple of positions in this today. One, I took just common shares position, long position, and then also a call option set to expire about a week after the earnings call. We'll talk about that strategy toward the end of the video in case you are interested in options, but I don't want to front load it for folks that aren't. So just hold on tight to the end of the video and we'll talk about that. But there is this wedge that's coming in on the daily that looks like it could could evolve in a really interesting fashion here and could give a nice punch in one direction or the other. So to me, that's sort of the risk profile here, is that if this punches through the bottom, like the uptrend support, if it punches through the bottom of this, then that to me is my sort of like sell signal. That's my risk level. If, however, it can punch through this downtrend resistance, that to me could spur a pretty solid uptick in price, and especially leading up into earnings as well. Now, it is essentially making a third very clear attempt at breaking this right now. So whether or not it's going to come down and continue to kind of consolidate with, even more tightly, condense more tightly the price action within this wedge, we'll have to see. But this is not a foolproof sort of heuristic, but there are a lot of times when a third time is kind of a charm. And so when there's this third really strong wave up to break previous resistance, oftentimes we see that kind of relent. And so I thought, this is a pretty solid motion up. It also looks to me that the selling pressure that there has sort of like been dying down. It's certainly nothing like we saw back here, right? And so some buying pressure coming in. Now it is going to need a big boost in that buying pressure, aka volume, coming in order to make any of these moves really sort of, I guess, punch through this resistance level. I keep saying punch through a lot, but I figured with the sort of dying down of immense selling pressure like we're seeing back here and certainly here, and then buying pressure looking like it could start picking up. It's not quite there yet, but also, like I said, making the third attempt here, those were the interesting factors to me to come in and take a look at FUBO and take a position. Now, aside from this wedge, a couple of things that I would look for sort of support and resistance wise. It is at a pretty interesting level, again, right here where it is, because you have all this previous resistance that flipped to support and then couldn't hold, and then here tried to hold support again, couldn't, and then here it caught it as resistance, and now here it's catching it as resistance again. Now if we scroll back and look, it was also a pivot point here, right? It was trying to catch support, flipped it to resistance, and same thing here. It came up and it was resistance, and then it flipped it to support and gave it a nice run. Same thing here. It was resistance that flipped to support and then gave it a nice run. So these critical sort of change of direction, like these are areas where this can flip, those are really, really important. And so again, this is just another factor, another converging factor in exactly where the price action is at the moment with FUBO. Now, the other thing to look at here is there is this sort of downtrend that's been pretty well sustained here for a while. And so this obviously coming into conflict's not really the right word, but coming into a nexus point here with this uptrending. And for the time being, the other factor that I saw was it looked as though the uptrend support was what won out over the downtrending support that had sort of infused itself relatively recently. So those are the kind of elevating factors to my mind. Now, if we want to look at some additional levels, obviously there's quite a bit of support here, right? But this is also a strong pivot zone. You see here as it was condensing between this resistance level and the uptrend support, it was able to flip it. And also back here, resistance, resistance, resistance that flipped to support and then made the run up. So I would look for a very strong hold if it comes down. I mean, that's quite a dip, but if it comes down to 24.47, I would certainly look for it to hold there. But it could come down and still be in this wedge at that price point for sure. On the upper side of things here, if we look for some next levels up, 35.04 makes a lot of sense to me. That's where this resistance kicked off, resistance here. I don't have to keep pointing this out. You all can see it on the charts for sure. And then I'll just chart one more level above that in case we catch sort of a nice tailwind. The next level up I would see just shy of $40. So a smidge over 39 there, 39.24 to be the next zone. So these are pretty big. There's like a lot of expansive room for runs in my opinion for FUBO as well. And so that's another sort of like interesting catalyst, interesting factor when I was looking at taking positions. There could potentially not be a lot of strong resistance between 31.08 and 35.04. So $4 move in a stock that's just a little over $30 at that point is a really nice percentage gain, especially in the option side of things. And then again, another $4 from 35.04 to 39.24. I mean, these are just, like I said, there's lots of run room in between here. And if we can combine that with downtrend support being possibly broken, appearing to be broken for the time being, uptrend support holding, and it further condensing itself into this smaller and smaller wedge, then, like I said, these are really, really strong factors that could sort of coalesce to give us a nice move out of this. So that's the play as I see it on the charting side of things. Now, if we flip over to the data, just to have a quick look, go over here now. Obviously, analysts are kind of a mixed bag in my mind. I don't take their price targets and whatnot super seriously. I do know they can be nice catalysts, right? When those come out and so-and-so initiates an overperform rating on FUBO at such and such a price target. So because those can drive some buyers into FUBO, but also if folks are poking around and looking for what they would consider good deals, and to the extent that other people, like en masse retail or even institutional buyers, are looking at something like this that shows them nearly 50% return potential at this point, that may convince some buyers to come in large quantities and could then help bolster the price. So again, it's not because I think that price target is super legit from the analysts. Maybe it is, but I look at it just more as a factor at which it could drive buy volume into a stock if the price target is higher, of course. On the short side of things, shorts peeling back quite a bit today. Actually, I don't know if because it's dipping a little bit right now after this run up, if they're just sort of saying, okay, let me kind of get out of this before I get caught again. Maybe if they didn't sell down here, maybe if they even took their position down there, who knows. But for whatever reason, they're peeling back a little bit today, but still 15% of the free float is being shorted per Ortex's estimate. And if you've seen any of my other videos, I consider anything over 10% to start inducing quite a bit of artificial selling pressure into the stock and into the price action. So the distortion that level of shorting creates can, of course, start to impact the actual retail and institution buyers and sellers and bleed a stock, of course. So I am, looking at that quite strongly. Utilization there's still a lot of shares out there to borrow if shorts wanted to continue to pile in more strongly, and the cost to borrow is negligible for the time being. So it's not putting a lot of pressure on shorts to close up shop because their cost to borrow is very high and the stock keeps rising, and that sort of idealized situation for getting shorts to kind of pack their bags and move along. So that's the most concerning element of this to me for the time being, is just what those shorts are going to be doing and how much that could impact what we as retail see on this side of things. But like I said, the risk to reward felt like it was there for me. This is a pretty steep, again, as a percentage, this to break out of this wedge would be about a $5 drawdown. So it's a pretty significant percentage, but I'm just going to watch it closely and sort of see what happens. And if you stuck around for the call option strategy that I was playing here. So basically, obviously, I think that the stock is going to go up. I think it has the potential to go up. I think it has a really good opportunity right now. And so I took the call option. I took it expiring about a week after earnings. And so my play here is basically that knowing that implied volatility will go up as we get closer to earnings, then I bought a $30 call option, right? So it's very close to in the money right now, and will obviously benefit from when it rolls over into being securely in the money. But hoping that the increase in price heading into earnings, but also the increase in the IV, and then selling that option the day before or the day of earnings. I need to see if it's before market open or after market close, because that would determine exactly when I would sell it. That the IV, along with hopefully an increasing share price, will offset any theta decay that is incurred by that call option. Now, it's not the perfect equation. It's sort of a theory. It's a way to approach it and sort of like test different strategies and see if it works out. I've had some luck with this before in different tickers, so I thought I would try it out here and just see how it works with old FUBO. But yeah, hopefully this gave folks, some ideas, some things to look into, but that's my take on FUBO at the moment. I think it has an opportunity. I don't know if it'll grasp it and run with it, but we will see soon enough. All right, folks, in any case, I hope that your trading week is off to a good start, and I appreciate you watching. I will see you in the next video.